I'm Dr. Ajaikumar. I'm Chairman and CEO of Healthcare Global Enterprise. I'm an oncologist. As an oncologist, when I went to US, trained myself in one of the best centers, MD Anderson, I always had the vision of the situation in India, how I can come back and make a difference. So in this regard, having trained in one of the best centers, I set up a center outside of Chicago on my own, learned the ropes of how to set up a cancer center, develop a partnerships. That was my first venture into being an entrepreneur. With that experience in '89, with a group of doctors, while I was still abroad, I started the Bengaluru Institute of Oncology, first private initiative in cancer care. My journey started there as an entrepreneur. And over the next 10 years, I used to spend 1 or 2 months a year here, seeing the nuances of how oncology is shaping up in India, what are the needs, what are the areas of technological gap, and of course the affordability. While I looked at that, I decided that in 2003-04 that I should come back to India for good, came back and started putting together the hub and spoke model for developing the HCG across the country. So the whole journey has been as a doctor, with something to do with the healthcare. So I consider myself more of a social entrepreneur, interested in making a social impact through this means in a private setting. And that is what essentially, with now 27 centers we have, 15 centers existing and 12 centers coming up, we feel we are going to we have already made a huge paradigm shift in cancer care across the country, not only in big cities but also tier 2, tier 3 cities. And that itself has made a difference in how cancer is treated in this country at present and how it has become affordable as well as accessible. HCG today, in the last 6 years, since the inception of Healthcare Global Enterprise, has become truly a leader in oncology. Today we see nearly 37,000 new cases per year, and based on the statistics which have been analyzed by various groups, we are one of the largest cancer care provider in the country. Not only that, the difference in HCG is we have multiple centers across the country, and that itself is a huge difference. When you look at centers not only in India, globally, there may be 1 or 2 centers which are multiple comprehensive cancer centers under one banner. And this is what HCG has achieved in a short period of time, with 400 doctors and nearly 275 oncology and oncology related doctors in that. So it is a doctors driven initiative. Quite a few doctors are actually shareholders of HCG itself, parent company. And also one of the major differences, we partner with doctors in various forms, whether it is Nasik, whether it is Ahmedabad or Kanpur or Cuttack. Partners are doctors most of the time, and they bring in local brand name, they bring in expertise there. With them as a national brand, we partner with them and develop a centers of excellence around this area. So in areas where previously private enterprise has not gone, in isolated areas there has been government centers, we have gone there and established high quality centers. For example, you take Ranchi or Patna or Cuttack or Nasik or Kanpur, Baroda. By doing this, we have made cancer patients accessible, and so that they can get up in the morning, take treatment and go back home. In the past, people used to travel long distance, for example Ranchi to Delhi or Mumbai, and be away from home for not just weeks but months together. Imagine the loss of work to the family who come with them. Imagine the financial impact of that. That itself has made a huge impact, social impact in our view of the patients who don't have to make these long trips and get the treatment near their home. So this is very important aspect of cancer care, because cancer care is not days or weeks, it is months together, and the follow-up is required. So one of the important difference we have made is accessibility, at the same time high quality of care which is affordable. These two differences have given us better outcome in cancer. So when a patient with cancer comes to an institution, they look at outcome. So what we have achieved is a good outcome. It is measured not only by us Some of the prominent schools like Harvard Business Schools have done study, Harvard Business Review, where they have referenced us for the hub and spoke model, how efficiently it can be done, as well as how we have been able to get outcomes equal to the centers in the developed world.
Briefly, can you tell us something about your business model and the funding?
Yeah. Our business model has been in the private enterprise. After we started this healthcare global enterprise in 2005, we got the first funding from IDFC private equity, nearly $10 million. With that, we put in 10 comprehensive cancer centers. Subsequently, we got funding from Evolvins, and then came Mr. Premji Investments, and then a group called Quadria. Previously, it was called Religare Milestone. And the last one to come has been Timasac, which is a Singapore government division. With this, we have also given successfully 2 exits to IDFC and Evolvins. So our growth has been mainly because of the private equity funding. We have grown significantly in the last 7 years from 1 or 2 centers to today we are nearing 27 centers in the near future. See, when you look at a dedicated cancer center, most of them are either run by government or trust hospital. In private enterprise, dedicated cancer centers are not there. Mostly they are multi-speciality hospitals with a cancer wing. So what is different about HCG in the private enterprise? We have a focus group only delivering oncology in the high care. And this is one of the most important change what we have brought to the country in the private enterprise. The second thing is we have not only brought this, we also have, we believe, a social responsibility. Through various means, we also treat a certain percentage of patients who are below poverty line. They could be in some of the government schemes. They could also be outside the schemes through our HCG foundation. We are able to subsidize and help them. So high-end therapy, like for example, radio surgery called CyberKnife, or high-end therapy like high-end bone marrow transplants can be performed at our center of excellence. And because of the hub and spoke model, the spokes can also deliver treatment at the tier 2, tier 3 cities. But when they require high-end treatment, they are referred to our main centers, where we are able to deliver high quality care in a very sustainable and focused way. And our doctors are also very specialized in what we call as multidisciplinary clinics. For example, when a patient comes to see our doctors, it is not one doctor. It's a multidisciplinary, radiation oncologist, medical oncologist, surgical oncologist, pathologist, oncopathologist, radiologist. All of them discuss the case and give what is the right approach to patient care. In cancer, that is a very important part. The cancer, I believe, can be treated only one way, the right way, the first time. The reason in the past cancer, we dread cancer, we bring up issues is because unfortunately, many a times it is not properly diagnosed in terms of staging. It is not properly addressed in terms of what should be the initial treatment, should it be chemotherapy, surgery, radiation, and also what is the type of procedure we do. For example, breast cancer, we don't have to do majority of time mastectomy anymore, removing the breast. We can do limited surgery, preserve breast. Which woman would like to sacrifice the breast when they have an option of preserving the breast and knowing they get the same outcome? So these are important things HCG has brought and changed. Quality of treatment, if you look at, we have been a proponent in saying cobalt therapy should be phased out. None of the HCG centers today have cobalt therapy. We believe that linear accelerator, high-end therapy is the order to lessen the side effects, decrease side effects, and improve the overall survival to the targeted area, prevent recurrence. So these are important aspects of oncology. When you do that kind of high-end therapy, focused therapy, analyze, for example, through genomics, that is one of the things HCG is specializing in, a personalized medicine and care that makes a world of a difference in the outcome for cancer patients. So this is what HCG has brought to India, brought in global standard to the highest level possible. In a very short period of time, we have been able to bring it to India. See, the hub and spoke model is a model which is a very efficient model for few things. One, to create center of excellence and bring about a high-end quality of care and good outcome. At the same time, make it accessible to the patient. So when you have a hub which is like center of excellence like we have in Bengaluru now, that hub not only does high-end work, like for example radiosurgery or bloodless bone marrow transplant, or it does major surgeries for recurrent tumors and clinics for this kind of complicated cases where international patients come, domestic patients come from all over the country. So this is usually the hub. The hub also does some back-end work. For example, when a patient is in, let us say, in our spoke, which may be Vijayawada or Cuttack, a patient requires high-end planning, radiation planning. We can't have high-end experts in all places. So we focus and have these experts in Bengaluru where they do this telephysics or planning for radiation therapy, teleradiology where all the high-end work is read, PET scan work, telepathology and pathological reading are done at the spokes. The spokes also the hubs also specialize in back-end work. The spokes are mainly to deliver the planned treatment at that level, so the patients don't have to travel to the hubs frequently. So we have cut down the stay at the hubs. We do most of the treatment at spokes. At the same time, we are providing the same quality of care what the hubs will do at the spoke level. So this is really the best of both worlds for the patients and the doctors. So doctors sitting in the spokes through virtual tumor board discuss with our hub doctors in the hub and plan out the treatment. The technology is one of the forefront for HCG. From the beginning, we are known as techno-focused. So for example, when we started these spokes with radiation therapy units, we integrated that to the hubs, to technology, the telephysics work. We are one of the first ones globally to start this kind of telephysics work, where a patient coming into a tier 2 city, like for example Vijayawada, he is getting the same quality of planning in radiation because of the technology, where online planning is done and discussion takes place with the doctor. Similarly, for example, you look at virtual tumor boards, where we discuss through technology the patient care, patient advice, like a second, third opinion are given. And the third one is, for example, the radiology. Like a patient who is sitting in Cuttack, we may not have an onco-radiologist in all places. We may not be able to find, but our onco-radiologists sitting in Bengaluru are able to read this online and within 20 minutes able to give the diagnosis or their opinion. Pathology also similar things can be done. Apart from that, we are using technology for data collection. One of the things we are specialized is collecting the data, understanding the patient's genomics, patient's stage of the disease, and based on that create a biorepository. And if the patient comes back with a recurrent disease, we go back to the biorepository and recheck the genomics and see why the patient has come back. What is the reason? How we can change the therapy next time around? Is it possible we can do some other form of therapy through the genomics or through certain ways of analyzing the patient tissue to give them a proper treatment rather than saying you have a 10% chance of responding or 20% chance? Can we make it 90% chance of responding? So this is where, as we integrate technology into the personalized medicine, that will play a very big role and help the doctors in initially analyzing properly so we can deliver, like I said, for right treatment the very first time, rather than using multiple treatments. No, this has not responded, let me try some other treatment. So we can offer a more definitive, sustainable form of treatment and hopefully prevent recurrences and even achieve cure in certain number of cases. Yeah. When you look at the PET-CT, what we have installed from the unit here, one of the first few fits is the PET-CT is a very high-end diagnostic division. The main impact of the PET-CT is to make sure proper diagnosis is given. So when you have a PET-CT nearby, and particularly a PET-CT which was manufactured by GE in India itself, that really makes a huge difference not only in the cost and also it makes a huge difference in terms of accessibility to the patient. If a PET-CT is close by, obviously they will get that kind of PET-CT, which is considered gold standard today for cancer staging and also assessing the response to therapy. So the patients are obviously don't have to travel, and the doctors are also going to use it, obviously when we need it, and they will feel comfortable using it, talking to the radiologist, reading it when this is in their own center. So the installation of PET-CT has in a way dramatically changed the approach to cancer care, not only in the diagnosis, staging, but also in the treatment. See, we are very much of a specialized group. We look at niche areas where there is a tremendous need and also opportunity for growth. So when we were growing oncology, which we have grown very well, done very well, operational excellence, hub and spoke model, growth within 8 years. When we looked at infertility, obviously we feel that it's a very unorganized way, and there is a huge opportunity and a need to make it organized. So when we met with Dr. Kamini Rao, who was very interested in replicating the HCG model. She is an entrepreneur who has already started, one of the first movers in IVF, has a very big name. So we were very fortunate that together we could come and establish the multiple centers in IVF also we are doing. We have now 4 centers. We plan to have about 8 to 10 centers in the very near future. That the centers are in the various stages. So with this, we feel there is an opportunity for us to replicate the model of HCG over a period of next 3 to 5 years.
Now, what are your other expansion plans? Maybe something else?
Yeah, we are also, we get a lot of international patients from Africa. We have a tower for Africa patients. So we plan to establish some cancer centers in Africa itself over the next few years. In this regard, we have formed a partnership with Commonwealth Development Corporation, which is arm of British government, and we have established a corporation in Mauritius, and that will drive the African initiative, not only in terms of clinics, but also starting actual center. Like in India was about 15-20 years ago, Africa is today. And so there is a great unmet demand and a need to establish quality centers in Africa. So like, we do get a significant number of patients from abroad. I call it more of a medical destination. When people look at quality care and outcome, from some of the developing countries, particularly Africa, where there is not much oncology care, particularly in East Africa, West Africa. Previously, the affording class used to go to Europe or US, where it is a lot more expensive. And they find India as a good destination for this kind, particularly when they have centers which are very much comparable or better than the developed countries. So that is what attracts a lot of patients to come to HCG for total cancer care. Over the last 5 years, we have seen a significant increase in the number of patients who have been coming to our Bengaluru center as well as Ahmedabad center. And going forward, we feel this will significantly grow over the next few years as our name becomes well known in these parts of the world. Yeah, as an entrepreneur, the startup is a risk versus reward. Obviously, all startups won't succeed. So I always tell them, if you want to be sure that you're getting a certain income, you want to be sure you are morally obligated to take care of your family, it is better you be employed in a firm and work for them. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to be prepared to give up everything, your shirt, like you may lose your shirt. But unless you are mentally prepared for that and take that plunge, you will never be a very successful entrepreneur. You have to. See, one of the things which prevents people to become entrepreneurs and jump into is insecurity. And if you are secure about yourself, confident, and you know how to take care of whatever your moral obligations, in spite of this being a failure, obviously you will make a very good entrepreneur.